MJF, speaking of AEW folks, responding to Ronda Rousey's WWE booking criticism. And this was MJF, I think, as a person, understands that pro wrestling is a business. I think a lot of us kind of understand that. And he understands the business side of professional wrestling. And the bidding war of 2024, I don't know if, like, do you think the bidding war of 24, do you think he was actually getting offers from WWE, and was he seriously considering it that
I'm
year?
sure.
Yeah, he
I'm
must
sure
have,
because
right?
Regal was there.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, as a businessman, he knows better than anybody. Especially a recent example was that bidding war of 2024, and he negotiated with AEW. I am genuinely curious how much he got out of that negotiation, because yeah, he's probably making a lot of money. But not everyone, like MJF, views professional wrestling as a business like that. And specifically recently, Ronda Rousey shared her frustration with WWE's booking of her to feud with Alexa Bliss in 2018, because Bliss was a top star because of her high merchandise sales. And Ronda Rousey basically said, the fact that they had me fighting Alexa Bliss at all was effing ridiculous. And you want to know why they had me against Alexa Bliss? Because she had the most merch sales at the time. Like, what the fuck? That's your decision-making process? And then MJF basically took that quote from the news, and then he did his own little, like, personal retweet saying, it's almost like pro wrestling, much like any professional sport, functions as a business. And then he said fucking crazy with, like, the emoji with, like, the head explosion thing. So I guess let me ask you guys, Chris, who do you, in this, like, debate about what when it's, of course it's a business, do you sympathize with Ronda's frustration, or is your initial gut reaction lining up more with MJF's reaction
I mean,
to this?
I was never a Ronda fan, so my initial reaction was like, yeah, MJF served her ass or whatever. Cause yeah, I mean, I don't know, like they hyped her up. She could have, like, done well. I mean, she did initially well, but I think just her overall attitude of the business just turned a lot of people off. You know, like she was
Mm-hmm.
owed a bunch of stuff. So I definitely side more with MJF in this case.
Yeah. David, what do you think? What do you think when you hear that commentary from her, and then you hear what MJF says? What comes to your mind when you read that?
Uh, mi- More towards MJF, and then like I was just looking deeper because it's what I thought it was, and uh, Ronda had a feud with Alexa Bliss to get the belt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how else are you gonna get the belt?
Right.
So why are you
Which,
complaining? Like
yeah.
that's like it's really weird. It's weird because it's like why, like, do you not know how things work? And then it's like, okay, so you're mad you're going against somebody that sells merch. That's like good for you.
Right. Like, I don't understand that part. And
Yeah,
Chris, I know you said you don't like
I
that.
think it's
I
CTE.
actually, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
it
it's
must be.
CTE.
Honestly,
Uh,
it might be the strange reactions. Like, for me personally, I actually did like Ronda Rousey when she showed up, because I thought it was like a cool. It was like the equivalent of, like, Brock Lesnar coming back because he had that UFC background, and having that in the women's division. I was like, yeah, beat those divas up or whatever. Like, I just thought that was kind of, like, cool, seeing, like, someone like Ronda Rousey in the division. Because she was a legit, like, MMA fighter, and I think when initially I was, because I wasn't watching MMA, I knew her peripherally through UFC. I think I liked her because I she liked Pokemon a lot, and that was like her thing. Was like she was a big gamer. and also UFC fighter, and she was just a really huge fan of Pokemon apparently. So that was kind of like what
Name 5 songs.
gravitated me towards it. Wasn't she like a Pokemon commercial? There was something, but yeah, she did have this like
Name
whole
5 gens.
and and I mean that's the only way I learned through was like it was through gaming related news, and then of course wrestling. I remember her wearing that Vegeta shirt. I think it was when it was like The Rock going up against was it Triple H and Stephanie, and then he brought her in from to the ring, something like that. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. I thought it was a cool moment, and then she had a longer stint in WWE. I didn't mind it, but I think like her view of the business was I don't know. I just feel I think like her approach and philosophy to it. I just don't know why you'd be viewing it that way because there were certain things I think she took personally. I think it was like a heel or face turn kind of thing, and I think they were booing her, and she didn't really understand why that was happening. Kind of similar like how Charlotte Flair was feeling in Chicago, and it just like really rocked her when they were like really booing the crap out of her this past year. Yeah, I don't know. Like I personally don't understand it because it is a business, and you know if you sell a lot of merchandise and T-shirts and that kind of stuff, you probably are going to get a push. So chances are that if you are a top person feuding with a person who's doing really well, also they're going to pair you with the other person. And I don't know if this was supposed to be some kind of like insult because it's Alexa Bliss or what, because that would be strange and bizarre. But yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of like naivety when it comes to
Thanks for putting me over.
yeah, like you understand like what kind of business you're in. Of course, it's predetermined and it's choreographed. You know, so I guess let me ask a more meta question. This is still revolving around the topic, but it's kind of zoomed out a little bit. And I guess Andres, I'll ask you, what should be the primary driver like of a wrestler's push? Because we just talked about the concept of like, oh well, you know, you're selling a lot of merchandise and now you're getting a push or you're getting considered more because you're clearly making more money for us as a business. So what do you think should be the primary driver of a wrestler's push? Is it merchandise sales and ticket moving ability, or is it pure in-ring talent and storytelling ability? And where's the ideal balance between the two?
We definitely talked about like I think that as a subject like in one of our pods before, like many months ago, about like what equates to top star.
Yeah.
But I think like in this case, like or in a meta question as you put it, I mean top sales and merch is obviously a huge push because obviously the universe is saying that we love this person, you know, we want to see them do more, you know, as a character. But then you have like what Roman Reigns, like everyone hated him for so long, and he was getting pushed like crazy, you know. But I don't know.
Still sold.
Yeah.
Asses in seats.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same thing like Cena. Like people boo the shit out of him.
Yep.
But
I do remember that.
Still the top merch seller, like regardless, for 10 years.
Yeah.
Some kind of shirt was up there in that rotation.
Yeah, I saw a clip of him once. Like I don't know what it was, but like I remember he was backstage and like he wasn't even in character, and they gave him the report of the sales for that like show he was working, and he was number one, and he was kind of shaking his head. He's like he's like it's weird. He's just like they tell you to piss off in the crowd, but then they buy your stuff, you know?
Right.
Yeah. He's like I don't get it, you know. I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into it, but obviously, you know, sales is a big thing, you know. And I mean, if your merch is selling out like crazy, yeah, you're definitely going to be pushed into the main card or upper mid card for sure, depending where the storyline's going. That's obviously a huge factor, you know, crowd pop and stuff, regardless if it's negative or positive. But you know, with the case of Ronda Rousey, I mean, yeah, she's very bitter a lot with WWE, honestly. Yeah. Like. It's been so long, you know, and she's still very like ugh about WWE. I don't know. I was kind of surprised that she even like said anything even now. Like why? Yeah. You know, and it does seem like a little bit of a a snark or a snide comment to Alexa Bliss. Maybe it wasn't intended that way. It was more to just talk crap about WWE, but I don't know.
Maybe because
Like,
she felt like
MJF is right.
she's like, like a Lesnar type figure where, I'm a real
Exactly.
quote unquote athlete and
Yeah.
I'm this UFC fighter coming in and, you're putting me up against Alexa Bliss instead of, I don't know, in 2018, who would be a bigger star. I mean, I guess Becky Lynch was starting to become the man in 2018. Um,
Like
but
straight
yeah,
to
I mean, wasn't she
Charlotte.
also? Yeah,
Get
like
out of this. The only thing that would have made sense.
yeah. But then then the other thing is like, well, you're not going to just keep feuding with her the whole time either. Like, wouldn't you want more variety? And Alexa Bliss was also champion, so when you want to fight with the champion, I don't know.
She
Um,
doesn't understand. She doesn't like wrestling as much as she claimed to. I feel like, because like I feel like a lot of the stuff that she passes over is just kind of like common sense and the essence of the business.
yeah. I
Like,
mean,
oh,
especially like
why did I have to feud with the champion? I beat her for the belt, but why did I have to feud for the champion? Why?
right.
Why? Why
Like
couldn't they
one
just
of
give me the belt?
And I mean, like she said, she's like a big fan of like Roddy Piper, and that was like her
No,
whole,
she
like
isn't.
inspiration
No,
thing,
she
right?
is. Yeah, sure,
I do remember her saying that though,
sure.
because her look was
Name
kind of like
five
his at first.
songs.
Yeah, I mean,
You
like
closed your eyes. She's
Name
like
she,
an
five
80s
songs.
wrestler.
Yeah. It's because Piper said she was cool, and there's nothing like. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I watched Pokemon." Like, shit.
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, like you
Where
too,
am
Marcin. I
I?
was excited when she came over. I was like, oh, cool, like
Yeah,
another Lesnar figure, but definitely not
I
humble
thought
with
it
the
was
business.
cool. Yeah, yeah. Until she ruined all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know, like if she just maybe she didn't understand. Maybe she looked
She's
at the
got.
business a certain way, and then when she got into it, she just realized that it wasn't what her expectations were. I don't know.
Yeah,
And I think, but she
she's a
left like
mark for herself.
2022. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she's
mean, I'm
just a
sure there's a
mark.
when you
certain
come from
degree
another
of
company,
that.
yeah, maybe. Because I was gonna say Lesnar was cool, but like I mean, but he came from WWE and then went there, versus she came from there directly. So
Yeah.
there's
Well,
definitely two different.
let me ask you this, Chris, I guess if you can answer this, and then if anyone wants to jump in, do you feel like focusing too heavily on the business side, like booking based on t-shirt sales, ultimately hurts the long-term health of the wrestling product by making it feel less like I don't want to say legitimate competition, but like the illusion of it, I guess. Does that make sense?
Uh, I mean, I feel like at least if you can look at like who's selling in like top 5 in like merchandise, because like merchandise sales is like telling them, who's popular in a sense, right? If their merchandise is selling, that means that that person's most likely popular on some level. So they could like if within the title scene, if you can at least see who are like top 5 merchandise sellers, you can rotate and keep it interesting versus like just focusing on the biggest seller of merchandise and they're always the guy on top or whatever. So just kind of like
Mm-hmm.
opening up the optics of it, and you can keep it kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Um, yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I had like one more question. Um, as a fan, like, does like I feel like as a fan, I know that if there's someone who's popular, for example, like I don't know, Santino Marella and his sock snake. Like if that's flying off the shelves and they give him, a bigger push because he's entertaining and like people are getting a kick out of it, who am I to say, let him get a push for like a specific belt versus like someone who's like purely technical of a mat wrestler or whatever, like Daniel Bryan or somebody like that. Like I honestly I don't look at it that way. Like I I know what wrestling is as a product and as a business, and if someone's popular, I understand why they're getting a push. Sometimes to the detriment of my own personal like biases or preferences when it comes to wrestlers. So, you know, but whatever, like I don't know, like if I was in her position and maybe, you know, if I was wrestling Alexa Bliss and stuff, like I don't know, I feel like for me I feel like I'd be like a Cena guy and be like a team player, like, oh, this is what you want me to do, all right, aye captain, you know, and then put my own spin on it and work within my you know, limitations and framework. But I don't know. I think sometimes people are a little too high on their own supply, and I understand maybe there were certain things that happened backstage that maybe have made you bitter to a certain degree, but I don't know. I don't have the energy for that kind of shit either. I feel like that sometimes that just seems very high school to me.
It's generally
when that's your perception, you know.
The business is a teamwork thing from like the top card to the bottom card, though, because that's just how it is. I mean, they have that saying of going into business for yourself is like this negative thing because you're derailing what's kind of happening on screen because you feel a certain kind of way or whatever. You're trying to benefit yourself. So, you know, I mean, that's just the essence of the business, and that she doesn't understand that, or anybody else that feels that way for that matter. You know, why be in it? You're just kind of screwing it up for everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it is a dance. Like they call it a dance because it's a partnership between two people. So if someone's selling a lot of merchandise, then it's your duty to like make that person look good, and then you get elevated to a certain degree, and then you elevate the other person. No one is, and again, we've said this before, no one thinks that wrestling is like quote unquote real anymore. We understand that it's predetermined. So with that mindset, you know that your duty is just to make the other person look good, and then you both will look good coming out of it. And like you said, it's a team sport, for lack of a better word. Like sport, it is I will say, and I'll still say that it's a sport to a certain degree. It's just a different kind of sport. You know, it's like, I don't know, figure skating or professional dancing or whatever it is that you want to judge somebody. It's still a product that you both put together and plan out, and then you perform this dance that you created. And yeah, and that's how that business works. So like your weird, like nitpicky type thing about, oh, that's your decision making process. Well, yeah, it's a business. Yeah, this person's doing a lot of merch. She's also not a bad wrestler. It's not like she had no skills or anything and it just came out of nowhere. Like she has her own level of skills and stuff to back it up. So I didn't see that big of an issue. So, but well, Rhonda, I hope you change your perspective. But speaking of interviews,